Today, I'm going to be making Sanji's life-saving fried rice from One Piece. Now, this is the live-action version, not necessarily the anime version. I think what's interesting about the live-action version is the ingredients that they use. And the main ingredient is this: corned beef. Yes, this is corned beef from the deli. Life is pretty good when you can get corned beef from the deli. Alternatively, you can get corned beef like this from your local grocery store if you don't want to cure it yourself. And since it's pretty close to St. Patrick's Day, I felt like this was a very appropriate video to make. I also love corned beef. Now, making Sanji's life-saving fried rice is relatively simple. We're going to start off with just a few mushrooms, and I'm using some cremini mushrooms here. You can use really whatever mushrooms you want and whatever happens to be cheap and available. After slicing up the mushrooms, this is when we give them a nice chop. Alternatively, you could throw this in a food processor, just make sure you don't process them too long. And there's a very good reason for this. Once these mushrooms are nice and minced, this is what they should look like. Remember, we want them pretty small so this way they fit onto the spoon, so it's a bowl within a bowl. And I get mushrooms all over the floor. And while I get the rest of my mise en place ready, I'm going to definitely tell you about my new book, Quest for the Best Tokyo. In this book, I adventured all throughout Tokyo, taking notes of various restaurants I had eaten at, but the kicker was that most of the restaurants were themed after whether or not it was One Piece, Demon Slayer, Naruto, or even My Hero Academia. We visited quite a few places that were actually One Piece themed in a way. One of my favorite places that we had gone was actually the mentaiko pasta in Tokyo. This was actually in Harajuku, and it's one of Sanji's favorite dishes. In this book that's live over on Kickstarter right now, not only will you be able to see all of those really cool places that we explored, but I've actually made companion recipes for you to make at home. So this way, even if you can't explore Japan, you can still get a taste for it from my new book. This is live only on Kickstarter right now, and if you sign up over on the Kickstarter, you're going to get a signed copy. Not only that, but we have a couple of few cool tiers that you could pick from. You can get a really neat headband, some really fun D20s that we used in each of the Quest for the Best videos, and even splurge on the collector's edition box. This was definitely a labor of love, and we absolutely enjoyed making this book. It was the trip of a lifetime, and I really hope that I can share that with you. So make sure you head over to Kickstarter at the link down below right now and reserve your copy, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to print them again. Onions are so strong. Now that you've ordered my brand new book, put those onions into a small bowl and place them to the side, so this way we don't have to cry. Right, get this book out of here. You're in my way. Kickstarter.com. Next, garlic. Now the garlic is also relatively simple. I'm just using one whole clove and I'm smashing it down a little bit with my cleaver. After giving it a good smash and a good rough chop, this garlic is ready to go. I want them to be somewhat bigger pieces. I'm also slicing up some green onion for garnish that we're going to use towards the end of the recipe. You absolutely want the green onions. And now last but not least, is the corned beef. You see Sanji grabbing this during the episode, and I think he grabbed it because, again, it was nearby, and he probably had thought of it earlier in the day, and he just thought, let's just do the corned beef. Look at this slab. The lady at the deli counter was helping me out, and she was able to cut this to this slab size, so if you're nice enough, I'm sure someone will help you out and cut corned beef for you for how big you need it. The reason why we need this slab size is so we can cut this into nice bite-sized chunks that we won't be giving to Gandalf. He does not need corned beef, trust me. Hi Gandalf. You can't have corned beef. There's so much salt in this. After slicing it into those nice chunky boys, our corned beef is ready to use for our fried rice. Remember, corned beef is ready to eat. Well, from the deli, not from the other package. I love corned beef. I worked at an Irish restaurant for about 2 years. I made so much corned beef in that time. Now their corned beef cut, this is ready to cook. Look at this, that's it. Now, if you have a wok at home, you can use a wok. Most of you may not have a wok, so it's totally okay to just use a large saute pan. Make sure you heat up this large saute pan to a medium-high heat and then drizzle in a good amount of oil. You wanna make sure it moves around very freely, and I think that this is out. You definitely need high heat for this, and not having butane in your burner is going to prevent you from having high heat. Once the oil is nice and hot, I'm dropping in about half of my onions just because I cut up so much of it, so you can probably make a couple of portions of fried rice with what we prepped. After the onions have cooked for around 1 or 2 minutes and they got nice and soft, this is where I threw in my mushrooms, and while that was cooking, I whisked up 2 whole eggs to add into the fried rice later. Yes, we're doing eggs for our fried rice. This almost tastes like a corned beef hash at the end of the day. I think we're losing more heat now. It's not good, guys. After replacing the second butane container, because yes, I somehow have just half empty containers, our mushrooms and onions are done, and this is where we drop in our garlic and continue to saute everything together. I like to add in a touch more oil before throwing in the corned beef, just so this way we can coat the corned beef with a bit more fat. The added fat along with the corned beef in the high heat pan can get it really nice and crispy.
Give this a taste, see if it's warm.
Once that corned beef is nice and warm, this is where I'm throwing in 2 cups of day-old rice. If you don't have day-old rice, just use fresh rice and make sure it's cold enough to throw into your pan.
It's happening, guys. We gotta go to the stove. Come here, come on, this way. Here we go, let's go, let's do this. Yep, this is happening. There, oh God. This is the stove.
What, you really think I have camera operators? Welcome to the stove, where there's a constant supply of gas and terrible lighting. After sauteing up all of my ingredients together, this is where I can finally throw in my eggs. Move all of that rice to the side, add in a good amount of oil, and start putting in your whole eggs. Remember, these cook very quickly and they can get really nice and creamy if you manipulate the heat well enough. My pan is over a low-medium heat. This way the eggs will get nice and soft. I'm gonna go ahead and let this entire clip play out to show you how fast these eggs cook. Remember, we don't want to really hard scramble these because you want them nice and soft to complement everything else. These eggs take probably 20 to 30 seconds to fully cook and be ready to go and tossed into the rice. But hey, if you don't like a soft scramble, go ahead and hard scramble them. Put fried eggs on top, throw some chopped boiled eggs, I don't care, it's your fried rice. But once those eggs are done, hit this with just a touch of soy sauce to your personal preference and season it however you want, and your fried rice is ready to plate up with one more thing.
Yep, gotta move you back over here. Oh God, that's a mistake. Hello, we're back. Now one last thing before we plate up is the green onions right on top. You don't want to cook this with the green onions. The green onions are very delicate, so if you throw them in while you're cooking, they're just gonna kind of get mushy and not be very good. And now my friends, giant bowl. All of this is going into one bowl. Look at how beautiful that looks. Oh, I'm so happy with this. All of the flavors with the corned beef, the egg, the green onion. My bowl is way too big, but look at this gorgeous bowl of corned beef fried rice from One Piece. It smells really, really good. It was super easy to make. Honestly, if you just buy corned beef, it comes together so fast. And now, my friends, for a taste test. Remember earlier when I had mentioned you want to be able to get like a full spoonful of everything? And that's kind of my aim. So I have a piece of corned beef in there, all of the rice, some of the veggies, some of the egg. This looks like a beautiful bite to kick things off of this life-saving fried rice. Cheers. That is fantastic. It's salty. It has a nice corned beef flavor from the corned beef, but the rice itself doesn't actually taste like corned beef. So there's layers of flavor there. The eggs are soft. The vegetables are still there. It's just a really decent bowl of food. And again, you can make this with whatever leftover meat you may have laying around in the house. Honestly, make it vegetarian if you want to. Just throw in more mushrooms and cut them up a bit bigger. Oh, that's good. Thank you to my patrons for making these videos possible. And remember, you can get your very own copy of Quest for the Best Tokyo over on Kickstarter right now. There's not too many days left to reserve your copy, so if you want that signed copy, head to the link down below and in the pinned comment and get yours today. My name is Chef PK, and remember, keep playing with your food.